Hello, friends. Welcome to the Nope Coach podcast. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg, and this is the first episode I'm recording without my earbuds, so I'll have to check out the sound. By the time this lands, I will be on holiday in the US, but I'm recording this the day before I'm leaving. So I've literally just packed everything, which is why I don't have my earbuds. And have I got a funny story for you? Ended up changing some money over ahead of going. So I'm going on the trip with my sister, and she was like, let's get some money exchanged. I'm kind of more like when I get to the country, I'll pull some money out of the ATM type person. But she's like, no, we'll get some money exchanged ahead of us going. I'm like, okay, yep, sounds like a great idea. Anyway, she's like, I asked for it in small bills. I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. For those of you in Australia, you'll know that our smallest bill is the $5 note. And this is where it all comes down to specificity, because my sister was thinking they'd give us, like tens and 20s. Anyway, what do you think we have? An envelope stocked full of $1. So, sometimes when we assume, we all know how that saying goes. So yeah, I am highly amused that we have all these $1 bills because yeah, small bills, like the smallest of their currency. Anywho, I have never been to the States before. I am a little bit anxious about the flight because I've flown to Japan, so that's like 8 hours, but I think to LA all up ends up being 14 or 15 hours. And the time zone, the time difference, and I'm highly claustrophobic. So we will see how this goes. This might be my one-hit wonder trip to the States, or it might be like, oh, I love this. We will see. And it's school holidays here, so the kids are staying home with Jeremy, and my sister and I are off. And yeah, I will report back with my adventures. What I wanted to talk about today is it's in the people pleasing realm. And so many of us, we work so hard to make other people like us. We say all the right things, or we do all the right things, or we're really, really attentive. And sometimes when you work really hard to make everyone else like you often end up not liking yourself very much. And in the beginning, we could not even realize this. The behaviors can end up coming out sideways in overeating, over drinking, over shopping, and just saying, I'm exhausted, I'm depleted, I don't have any time for myself. Because we don't make time for ourselves, because we don't want to be seen as selfish. And in being available to everybody else except ourselves is often how we end up, depleted, exhausted, and overdoing and overgiving everything. And then from that place, we're forever looking for the next diet or the next program or the next budget or the next planner or the next thing to tell us what to do by following some external process that has the answer. And there's no shortage of those on the internet. Like, you just Google how to lose weight or save money or, drink less or whatever, you're going to find thousands and thousands of hits. And then for a little while, we can follow whatever program it is because, they all work when we work them, but then we can't stick to them. And, sometimes in our effort to get support, to get over something, we end up even people pleasing the people that we hire to help us. Like, we people please our coach, or we people please our support person. And what I want you to consider today is, what would it take to be truly honest, to not have to work so hard, to not even have to work at all to make people like you? Some people aren't going to like you. That's okay. Do you like everyone? I know I sure as shit don't. But that doesn't mean that, not liking someone is not equivalent to being rude to them. You can be tolerant, you can be palatable, you can be polite, but that doesn't mean that you're going to bend over backwards for them or go out of your way or go above and beyond. And I think, when we are like a carbon copy, a cheap copy of ourselves, and when we're with this person, we act this way, and when we're with this person, we act that way, and then left to our own devices, who even are we? We lose sight of that. We lose track of that along the way. And the first time I heard someone say that people pleasing was manipulative, I literally want to stick my hands over my ears and go, la, 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 not hearing it, because I was like, I'm not manipulative. But if you're presenting yourself in a certain way, if you hide parts of yourself, disguise parts of yourself, downplay, ignore, dismiss parts of yourself because you know that that isn't welcome there, how is that not manipulative? If someone says, what do you think of this? And you lie, it looks great. You look fabulous. You should buy it in every color. How is that not manipulative? Like, you might choose to rein in your true thought. It really depends on your audience. Like, the people I know well, I love that I don't need to edit. I can be truly honest, and they don't see it as an attack or me being mean. This is my thoughts on that. It doesn't mean that they need to have the same thoughts on that. Like, if there is a TV show or a book series, like, I am an avid bookworm, ready for my trip to the US. I have packed my Kindle to the rafters because I have no idea what I'll feel like reading. So I have a bit of everything because I have a wide range of book likes and dislikes. And there'll be some books that a friend will recommend to me that I'll be like, that was absolute trash. I couldn't get past the first chapter. I love that you loved it, but to me, it was a no. And I know that they're not going to take that to mean that I am saying anything about them. We just have different tastes. The same as with movies or TV shows. I love reality TV. Now, I know it's not really reality, and I know that it's scripted, and I know that, it's just a lot of it is bad. But I love that it's bad. I love to put it on, listen to it in the background while I do my diamond dot, which is the lazy person's cross stitch. And I know a lot of people have feelings about diamond dots. One of my clients said to me, that is so mind-numbingly boring. I don't know how you do that. And I don't take offense. I'm sure there's things that she does that I wouldn't choose to do. But you can have your opinions. You can be honest with someone. What do you think of this? I would rather watch paint dry than do that. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it or you shouldn't love it. But when we try and put on a brave face, like my late mother used to love period dramas. And I remember we went to the movies once to see this movie. I think it was called Bright Star. I'd have to Google it. I fell asleep in that movie 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And afterward, I'm like, Mum, I love you dearly. I am never seeing a period drama with you again. Invite one of my other sisters, invite somebody else. But that was so boring to me that I fell asleep 3 times. And finding a movie that we both agreed on was a challenge because the things that I enjoyed, she didn't. I enjoyed more the sci-fi, the fantasy, and my mum was like, I don't get that. It's not for me. But then there's other things that we could do. Like, I remember my mum and I once went to a psychic fair because I'd always wanted to go. And my mum was like, yeah, let's go. And then my dad was like, what would you waste your money on that for? But, there's things I do with my dad, like going to like the show, like, the ag fest, the farming type things that my mum would be like, oh, no thanks. So all of this to say, when you work really hard to make everyone else like you lose touch with what you like yourself. And then you don't get to form those, true connections. That when I stopped going to see period dramas with my mum, I felt like there was a weight off my shoulders because I was like, I can't stand these movies. And you don't need to force yourself to do something for the sake of someone else. Now, I'm sure somebody is listening to this is like, well, what about, a special occasion? So like when my kids put on something with a school assembly or when they win an award, it wouldn't be my first choice to go to the school assembly 100%. I don't particularly enjoy them. Love my kids. Don't love sitting through 2 hours of stuff to see my kids up there for 30 seconds. But I will. Like for a special occasion, for a presentation, an assembly, a wedding, an engagement party, if someone's doing something that's really special to them, of course, that's their day, that's their time, that's my celebration of them. I 100% will forego my preferences to be there to support somebody that I love and care about. But when it becomes every single time, their movies, their preferences, their likes, and then there's never any, what do you like to do? What are your options? What, sometimes things can become really, really one-sided. And I know, not that many years ago, before I was the NOB coach and got into this, like you teach what you most need to learn so you can learn it. I had a lot of one-side friendships. I was the one who called, who texted, who invited, who initiated, who dropped everything to be there, who helped people move house. And then when I was going through a personally rough time, it wasn't reciprocated. And that hurt. And it does hurt. But was I asking? No. And then what was I making it mean when people weren't volunteering? People don't know. We all are the leading person in our own lives. And everyone else, even if they're really, really close to us, are a side character. And people don't know what's going on for us if we don't ask. And sometimes when we just go radio silent, like I will admit in the past, I have been my share of passive aggressive. I just stopped calling. I just stopped initiating. And then, they might call 6 months or a year later and I'll be like sarcastic with them. Would you want to be friends with someone who you're like, oh, I haven't heard from them in a while, and you send them a call and they're like, oh, nice to hear from you? Because I know I sure as shit wouldn't. So if you notice things are going one way, to initiate the discussion, to say, hey, Sarah, we've been friends for however long now. I've noticed of late, or I've noticed that, I tend to be the one who initiates stuff. I would really love it if you could reach out to me, like let them know. Let them know, what that would mean to you, how that would feel to you. And, when you really speak your truth, it's not the truth, not the truth of the universe, but your truth, how you feel about things, dynamics and relationships and things can truly change. Uh, it's a silly example, but I have a certain way that I like my toast cooked. I can't remember if I've shared this story before, but anyway, my late mum, she nicknamed me the connoisseur of toast because it had to be prepared in a certain way. When I went to stay with my mum, or when, I went away with family or friends, or even to this day, and as I said, at the time this lands, I'll be away with my sister, so she might catch this and have a good old laugh. But I don't ask anyone to make my toast. And if anyone asks me, oh, can I make you something? I'll say no, thanks, because I like to do it the way that I like to do it, hence the nickname, the connoisseur of toast. But when I have toast that's too burnt or too soggy, like it's bread or charcoal, and I don't enjoy it, and I don't feel satiated afterward, it's, it's not a fun experience for me. And in the past, I would just have whatever it was that people gave me because I wanted to work really hard to make sure everyone liked me. Thank you so much. I love this. Appreciate it. Even though I didn't, I was literally lying. I like it done in a certain way. And I'm at the point now where I do it myself. Because when I was placating and pleasing and, working so hard to make everyone else around me feel good, I didn't feel very good. Didn't enjoy what I was eating, didn't feel satiated, didn't have a great experience. So I know that I like to make my own toast, the same as I like my own cups of tea. Like if someone cooked me a meal or something, 100% I'd be down for that. But there are certain things I like done in a certain way, and I have that standard. And I know like that. It's not telling other people how to be. It's about how I like to be in a space. And, when I travel, I have, preferences about, where I stay or staying with other people, or, what to me feels like an imposition. It might not feel that way to someone else. But if it feels like to me, I know I'm not going to have good time, I won't do that. But, knowing yourself and what works for you and being able to articulate that so that your needs are met, so that you like, or dare I say, love yourself, and your life and the way that you do things. And then people can self-select in or out. So rather than you always having to be like the chameleon, and when I'm with this person, I'm like this, and when I'm with that person, I'm like that. Like, I honestly am at the stage now where I'd rather people hate me for who I am than like me for who I'm trying to be. Because like is a button on Facebook. Like is exhausting. Like is conditional. Like, I'll like you as long as you fit into this parameter. But the second that you do something that I don't expect or do something different to how I intended, then I don't like you anymore. I think that has a lot to do with the rampant cancel culture we have right now, because we have an image in our heads of how we like somebody to be. And when they don't meet that image, we rip them off the pedestal. Where, when you are 100% you, and maybe some people find that abrasive or brash or loud or blunt or direct, then they can choose not to associate with somebody who is abrasive or loud or direct. You get to be you. And that is so freeing, because then you don't have to pretend or to chameleon or to act or to work out which version of me am I in this situation, because I'm me across the board. And then people get to choose to select in or select out. Love to hear how this is resonating for you. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below. But really, have a think about it. Are you working really hard so that everybody else will like you? And what do you think about yourself? And would you rather, like me, have people love you for who you are, rather than like you for who you pretend to be? Or dare I say, hate you for who you are, than merely like you for who you pretend to be? Thank you so much for tuning in. Next episode I record, the next solo episode, I'll be back from my United States adventure. So, listen out for that one. And I have some more guest episodes coming out in the meantime. I am putting all these episodes on YouTube. If you're catching this on audio, just a reminder, on YouTube, I also have recorded coaching sessions. So if you go to Suzanne Culberg, if you go to my website, there's a link there on resources for all my YouTube playlists. Or if you just Google Suzanne Culberg YouTube, if you go to the playlists there's one called recorded coaching or coaching sessions. Highly encourage you to tune into those. And if you want to be coached by me for free, the exchange is that I'll record it and pop it up on my YouTube channel. There is an application form there in any of those recorded coaching sessions that you can click on and fill in. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.